Hey guys, my name is Nora Franch, and welcome to the podcast Grateful Blessed Mess, daily reflections for those in the 12 steps. I am a fellow 12-stepper and certified mindset coach, and I am here to introduce you to the value of mindset coaching in your 12-step journey. So if you feel like you are stuck in the steps, if you're slipping and sliding with your abstinence, mindset coaching may help you as it did me, and you can find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. These episodes are meant to invite you in to consider the truths of 12-step wisdom and to join in the very real struggle of living them in action. I hope that it feels almost like a mini meeting, and I invite you to contribute your own share on the Grateful Blessedness Facebook group to keep the discussion going. My comments are based on my own experience, so feel free to take what you like and leave the rest. But my hope is to encourage you on your own daily 12-step journey. As they say, you cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, we're reading from Daily Reflections, page 42. It's the reading for February 3rd, titled Filling the Void. We needed to ask ourselves but one short question. Do I now believe, or am I even willing to believe, that there is a power greater than myself? As soon as a man can say that he does believe or is willing to believe, we emphatically assure him that he is on his way. That is from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, page 47. And here's the reflection. I was always fascinated with the study of scientific principles. I was emotionally and physically distant from people while I pursued absolute knowledge. God and spirituality were meaningless academic exercises. I was a modern man of science. Knowledge was my higher power. Given the right set of equations, life was merely another problem to solve. Yet, my inner self was dying from my outer man's solution to life's problems, and the solution was always alcohol. In spite of my intelligence, alcohol became my higher power. It was through the unconditional love which emanated from AA people in meetings that I was able to discard alcohol as my higher power. The great void was filled. I was no longer lonely and apart from life. I had found a true power greater than myself. I had found God's love. There is only one equation, which really matters to me now. God is in AA. That is something that might be hard for some of you to hear. If you are not yet in that place where step 2 is how you live and breathe, where you do believe that there's a power greater than yourself that can restore you to sanity. But are you even willing to believe? Like, do you get a little bit of curiosity almost when you see other people who are so convinced that this is true and they are living in the freedom of recovery that there's just an ounce of you maybe that is a little bit curious to dip your toe into maybe what it is that they have so that you can have the recovery that you want. Just a thought. Now, I am someone who can idolize knowledge. I like to study almost as a way of like getting out of like the uncomfortable reality of whatever's going on. I'm like, I'll go learn more about virtue, or I'll go learn more about whatever it is. Whatever thing is enthralling my mind at the time. And it's a good thing because it threw me into program and learning about program and all this stuff. But I know I can even use that as an escape from the uncomfortable realities of life. And I think that without knowing it, a lot of people in this day and age want to lean on this absolute knowledge thing because it's comfortable. In this reflection, he capitalizes it, that he pursued absolute knowledge, meaning that it was a replacement for a higher power. And knowing everything he knew, he still fell into alcoholism. And I think that's really important. That's the key point that this writer is making here, that absolute knowledge could not save him from the spiritual malady. He said, yet my inner self was dying from my outer man's solutions to life problems, because life is not cut and dry. We want it to be. We are people of black and white thinking. We live in extremes. We want life to be, like a recipe. Like when this happens, you add this and then you get this. And when this happens, you add this and you get this. And it's just not that cut and dry. People are too complex. There are too many varieties of things that can happen and ways that can be taken. And that's the hard part we have to learn about living in the gray. That life can't be this neat equation. And so we will lose our minds. Often I lose my mind when trying to make it this neat equation where it's like, oh, I know what to do here. I just have to love more. And then it's like, but I can't love this person more. Like, I hate you right now. Something like that. Something where it's like, even if you know the quote unquote solution, whatever equation you need, you can't conjure up authenticity. You can't conjure up desiring the good for another. You can't. It has to be like a spiritual transformation. And I truly believe that can only be at the result of the grace of God, your higher power, whatever you call him. I really do think that there is this part of us that wants everything to always be neat and tidy. And that is also the part that crumbles when something happens to us in life that we cannot solve with all these equations that we have learned and come up with and know. And at that point, you're at a divide in the road and you have two choices. You can either choose to reject reality and keep slamming these equations into something that they just don't fit, which ultimately ends in insanity and substance abuse for us. Or you can choose this less traveled, unknown path of the steps and a higher power. You literally have no other choices. It's either insanity or the potential for safety and recovery. So what do you choose today? With that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. But more than that, it's important to me to give listeners like yourself a place where you do not need to feel alone on your 12-step journey. And for that reason, I've created a Facebook group. It's called Grateful Blessed Mess. And it's a place where listeners can go to add their own commentary on the share for the day, in addition to my own, and for us just to have a conversation or start a back and forth where people can find support in their 12-step journey. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so, welcome. If you are here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess. And I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.